We have a 1937 Chevy truck, and as you can see, she has a few teeth that's been knocked out of her. She's been sitting for about 45, 50 years. She's missing one eye. There's a little bit of rust here and there in the cab. Rear end is locked up. Interior wise, we have some seat springs, an extra set of headlights, some floor pan, it looks like. We have the Bird Nest Deluxe package up there. And she shows 21,475 miles on her. Keys in the ignition. Clutch is not stuck. The only bad thing about the old girl is the motor's locked up and the hood's falling apart. Well, there goes the hood. The motor in the old girl is locked up. I checked it before we bought it, and as you can see, she ain't moving. It is out of gear. We do have the Dirt Dauber Performance package in the carburetor. That restricts airflow and keeps dirt out of there at least. Well, not dirt, water, because there's probably full of dirt down in there. We're gonna go ahead, and it looks like we're just taking the hood off because it fell apart, and pull these plugs, get her soaking, and get her loose. Everything on this side seems to be complete. We got the kick down starter. Someone's added that piece right there. Distributor's there, the coil's there. The plugs don't look too old, probably from the 60s or 70s. She's only been setting for about 45, 50 years. Nothing too major. Well, there's quite a bit of carbon on this one, but no rust. That's always a good sign. Go ahead and give all these a good spray. It's like the old 1938 Dodge dump truck. We have corrosion on this spark plug right here. That green corrosion, which normally means the intake valve or something is open and moisture gets in there. That's why the old motor's probably like. Plugs still don't want to give up, so throw a cheater bar on it and see what we get. Ooh. And just as I thought, this is pretty rusty too. It's got quite a bit of rust on it. She's been sitting for a few hours now, so hopefully we can get a little bit of movement out of it. No, not in the least bit. Go ahead and see if the starter has any better luck than what we do. Well, the Bendix is locked up, or the starter buttons are locked up on it. The copper nub on the top of this starter is a little too corroded. I think that's our main problem. And we got her somewhat shiny. I'm gonna say the brushes on the starter or the armature thing in there is too rusty or dirty to get any power through it. We're gonna pull this starter off, take it apart, clean her up, and hopefully we can use that starter to bump the motor loose like we did on the old Dodge dump truck. Trying to see why that starter's not working. It's packed full of dirt daubers, and there's some rat nests and debris in there. And them brushes get rusty and then they don't work. So we're gonna take the back end off of this. The Bendix seems to be, well, the kick out's working just fine. It's just the motor that's not wanting to work. Oh, the starter's not working. That's fairly clean, but these brushes, all this stuff packed in there, and all this down in there is making it where it's not getting contact. We're gonna clean all this up and that and get back with you guys. Then she should at least somewhat work. We're gonna give her another try. I don't know if that's the tornado sirens or not. Maybe not. Well, we'll let her cool down again. Let it sit overnight again. So we've had diesel, PD blaster, and acetone in it for like 3 days now. We're gonna bump the old starter again, and hopefully she'll bump loose. We also filled the crankcase with diesel. Pull the valve cover off the engine. We can figure out how to get it out of there. It don't look too bad. All this is rust from the inside of that valve cover. They get surface rust on the inside. You see all that. Main reason is it wasn't coated with anything and moisture draws between the oil and stuff. We may have a few stuck valves. That could be the problem. We'd go ahead and undo the valve assembly up top, well, the rocker arms, whatever you want to call them, and see if we can get her to turn over. Then if she won't, we're going to pull the cover off over here, because on these engines sometimes the lifters get stuck in the bores down there, and that makes them lock up solid where you can't even move the engine, and that could be what we're dealing with. You can see how this is staying down and just going further down. Oh, there she comes back. We have a few stuck valves, and that's more than likely our problem. Pop the head off of there. We've been messing with it. I pulled the transmission out just in case it was locked up. Wasn't the transmission. And there is no good news for this old girl. That is all rust that's coming off the cylinder walls. This one, you can just feel where it's been etched from water and grease. Well, water and probably rat pee and stuff like that. This one, they're all just terrible. We're gonna shop vac them out, and we're gonna make her run. I mean, she's not too bad, but it's kind of one of them, she ain't gonna run too good, but she's gonna run. You see, none of that's too pretty. We're gonna go ahead and go to the Home Depot and get some muriatic acid and fill her full, watch her real good, and that should knock her loose, I'd say. But boy, I didn't expect it to. I guess sometime in the past 45 years, the hood blew off and a bunch of water got in it. And put muriatic acid in each of these cylinders. This one back here is by far the worst, but we're gonna let her soak. I know some people are gonna say white vinegar, which is a good idea, but as rusty as this engine was, muriatic acid is about the only hope here. Even a vapor rust wouldn't do too great. That one's starting to work pretty good. We're gonna get out of the way because you don't want to breathe the fumes in. She's moved a little bit. We're gonna bump her with the starter some more and try to get a full revolution. She's about 500,000 degrees right now. We just filled these cylinders with acetone and set them on fire. That's how we got it to move. We left that muriatic acid in there for about 2 days. It ate all the stuff out of that cylinder. It looks pretty nasty, but she's gonna run. Our starter button's about wore out. We gotta go get a new one of them, but we're gonna bump her with that starter and hopefully she whirls over and we can put her all back together. She's moving a little. It sounds gnarly, but she's moving. There we go. She's loose. I knew we'd get it. They're all put back together. The head's on there. All the rocker arms and valves are set where they need to be. I guess them dirt daubers didn't keep the dirt out, well, the water out of there like I said they would. It don't look too dirty down in there. There's some rust. We're gonna shop vac it out and clean this old carburetor. Last thing we gotta do is change the oil, clean them points up, and put the new plugs in there. And we'll be ready to fire the old girl up. Put on there. I haven't checked the points yet on this thing. I did catch the whole engine on fire the other day, so it kind of got a little crispy. Man, them points in there look perfect. Them are the Delco Remy USA, so them are the original points. I guess that cap's just kept it clean all these years. That should be good. I guess we need to throw that cap back on there, get some plug wires sorted out, and fire this old girl up. Put that new starter button on there, and well, we're gonna give this a try. Hopefully she fires off this go around. Here we go. We can now operate the starter from this side. Looks like it's not even getting fire at this point. Put some gas in it and see. Well then, I think this time we might be able to get her running. We've let her set for a while for everything to cool down again, and maybe, just maybe. Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere with it. She runs. The carburetor froze up from running her off the old ether that long, but she's a runner. I'm gonna let her cool down and we're gonna fire her back up and see how hot we got her. Yeah, we got her. She's pretty warm. That should give them rings a chance to pop back, and maybe she'll run off the good old gasoline. Put some water in there and let her cool down, so we're gonna see if we can get her run off some gas instead of just some starting fluid. Okay. Dadgummit. Give her a little more throttle. say, she runs pretty dadgum good. We shut her down because she's starting to get warm real quick. Yeah, she's starting to boil that water in there. She gets warm fast. After 45 years, I can't believe she ran that good, and she didn't even smoke. With as much rust and stuff was in number 6, number 4, and number 3, I couldn't believe it ran that good. But thank you guys for watching. Please consider leaving a like or maybe subscribing, because we got a lot more content coming. This video is going to be on a Monday. It's going to be on Saturday, but this old girl took a little bit longer to get running than I thought she would. Also, there should be some Diamond T video coming up soon, part 2 to that build, and some CUDA videos here real soon. We're waiting on parts. That's what makes stuff take so long. Also, you guys will be seeing the BMW here pretty soon, because we're going to get it back on the road. See you in the next video.